We are far above them. And you have to know it so that you constantly keep the devil where he needs to be. If you don't know it, even if you go to church, the devil can still deal with you. But you must know it, what the Bible says about you when you give your life to Christ. You are no more a slave to sin. You're no more a slave to fear. You are now a child of God. Do we understand that? Darkness do not control you anymore. It is light that controls you now. Even if it's today you give, as soon as you give your life to Christ, today, just in case there's somebody here who has not given their life to Christ, we will pray with you. Very easy. You move one time, you move from darkness into light. The Bible calls it marvelous light. Into his marvelous light. Where the devil cannot stand it. The devil cannot stand that light. And then your growth as a Christian begins to empower you to rule and put down and subdue darkness. That's very, very important. That's very, very foundational. God has great plans for you. Great plans. Great plans. And as I look at the room, most of us are young people. So there's hope. There's hope. And I want to celebrate those of you who are a bit elderly, for how much you have tried, how much you have encouraged these younger ones. These ones who are new or, upcoming and all of, how much you have. I want to believe you've been praying for them. I want to believe you've been encouraging them. I want to believe you've been maybe somebody that they can come to and cry to and talk to and get encouragement from. If you are doing that, please continue to do that. Because sometimes it's not you who will shine. Sometimes it's the person you have encouraged that will shine. But your position is as important as that person who is shining, because your role is critical. Is somebody getting my point? And there is no limit to what God can do in your life. No limit. I have a friend, he's a music producer in Lagos. He produces for all of Frank Edwards, all of them. How many of you know Adai? He produces for all of them. He was my secondary school classmate. Maybe next time when I'm coming to Rwanda, I'll bring him. He does all of these things, and people don't know him, but they know the people he produces for. He produces amazing songs for them, but people don't know him like they know these other people. He has his studio, powerful studio in Lagos. Equipment to taste. One day I sat with him like this. I spoke with him for almost 5 hours. Because you see this thing called music, if God gives it to you, you better know what God gave you. Now, he's not supposed to be known like that because he's a producer. He can be known as a producer, but not like, artists are usually more popular than their producers. And so the thing is not about popularity. And there are even some of you here who are thinking you have to be popular. It's not about being popular. Yes, when you work with the record label and all of that, they always have everything in place to make sure they push you. So sometimes even these people, they don't even know how far people have pushed them. When we're coming from Kigali to Kampala, they were just playing Nathaniel Bassey's song on the listen. They will finish that one, they will play what's his name? One of you mentioned it here. Tim Godfrey. They finish that one, they play Moses Bliss. I'm like, is this a Nigerian boss or a Rwandan boss? So I started thinking whether they have a way of collecting, whether they are paying, those Nigerians are paying money, please be playing our music in the buses. Because they just kept moving from one Nigerian guy to another Nigerian person, to another Nigerian person, to another Nigerian person. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, some of those things could just be grace. When God sees, this is one of the things about God. When God sees your faithfulness in little, He sees your faithfulness in little. One day, if those people tell you how many years they have been singing and nobody knew them. There's one of my friends, I call him a brother because we lived in the same house together. His name is Manus Apanke. We stayed in the same house. Now, if you just check his name on YouTube, you will see many of his songs. He has done songs with Ebuka, he has done songs with Moses Bliss, he has done songs with all of these people. But we used to be in the same house together. He's been doing music for years. Producing music, training people in music, training different kinds of people, raising different musicians up that were even shining. One day, God just honors him. Do you understand? Now everybody's singing his song all over the place. Faithfulness in little. Faithfulness in that. You don't call it small. You give yourself to it. You give your best to it. Because you know who called you into it. And let's come quickly into this education thing so that we don't forget it. Your education is as important as the ministry God gave you. So those of you who you do not have a bachelor's degree, start finding your way back to school. What did I say? Start finding your way back to school. Go and apply to study music. I met a music director in one of the churches I know in Nigeria, and he was, he told me, he said, I asked him, what does he do? He said, I train this choir of this church, I train the other choir of the other church, I train the other choir of the other church. They like me, I think I like what I'm doing, I'm good at it. So I asked him, what are you studying in school? He told me he's studying agriculture. I said, He was in his second year. I told him, if I were you, I will leave. You are not too old to get back to school. You're not too old. If you think you don't need school, trust me, it's a demonic thinking. Because what you've just done is that you just limited yourself. Speaking of money to do music. I just told you now that Moses Bliss is both a fashion, he produces clothes. Some of the clothes he wears, he produces it. Some, not all. And he sings also. Meaning he went somewhere to learn it, to be educated in it. And if you're not properly educated, you can't make some clothes that some people can wear. It's not this roadside tailor that will be making that when they finish sewing your shirt, your one hand will be like this. I don't know whether you have them in Arua here. They finish sewing suit for your suit like this. And then at the gospel minister, you now wear the suits. You come on, people are wondering, is that a baboon or is that a human being? Your education matters. Please, as I'm talking like this, just be thinking of the next form you will go and buy. The next form. I'm giving you see, if you can do the things I'm going to tell you today, nothing can stop you. Nothing will be able to stop you. If you choose to live in Arua, it's by choice. Because the world will be looking for you. That guy that I told about agriculture, the guy went, I didn't even know. He went and he cancelled the thing. He went to start afresh, started music. See, I met a professor of music one day. They were giving him a national award in Nigeria. That's the president of Nigeria was giving the musician an award. And he was sharing. He was sharing all the schools he had been to. He has gone to some music schools in the US. He has gone to some music schools in Nigeria. He was talking about mathematics in very high level music. Let's not limit ourselves. God needs your mind. When you are properly trained in music, your music will change. The way you do music, it will be different. What you don't know, you cannot do. You must know something to do something. All these musicians that you know, all these big names, you will see them, they come to my church all the time. You need to see the work these people put into their music. The work. Some of them will travel, they will pay thousands of dollars, they will go to UK and go and study something in music. Some of those Nigerian music people are saying you like, some of them, they are not perfected in Nigeria. They do them in Nigeria, then they send them to the US. How many of us know Dunsi? You know Dunsi? That's one of the biggest names in Nigeria now. Dunsi Unicorn. One track from his album. They pay $10,000 to work on it. One track. One track. So if the music has 7 tracks, you know how much that is. That's why some of them don't produce too much tracks. It's where people don't know how to do music. You see tracks, 14. You just see tracks. And then you finish doing 14 tracks, nobody knows one. The question is, that $10,000, who are they paying the money to? It's still a musician they are paying the money to. Somebody who went to school to study something. And then somebody here, he said that there's no money. No, there's money. Please, don't tell me there's no money. There is serious money in this thing called music. You just need to educate yourself to a point. Do you know you can do music, you can empower yourself to a point where other people from Kampala, they begin to come to your studio here in Arua. But when you don't have a vision for your own music, you just want to sing and become an international artist. That's not a vision. That's not a vision. Otherwise, we are joking. What I'm talking about, I can't lay hands on you, receive music. You have to go to school and receive it. I know what I'm saying. Let me explain to you some of the things that can happen if only, just watch this, if you go to school properly and do music. Let's assume you're not even singing, you're not a singer. You just want to go to school and do music. Let me explain to you the opportunities there. Number one, you will understand the music. You will understand how music works. You will know how to use music. Do you know that now there is a course in America now, how to use music? I'm not talking of gospel music now. How to just use music to heal people. We're not praying for them. They're just doing music to heal people from depression. People just hear your music and they are okay. That thing that is disturbing them in their brain just resets. There are now academic courses that teaches you how to do that. And you don't have to be born again to do that one. How much more when you're now born again? The fact that this world is in darkness is a proof that you are in demand. You are not on the disadvantage. You are on the advantage. Because like he mentioned, some of the people who are doing those music, by the time the devil begins to collect things from them, they will wish they had never started with the devil. So isn't it better that your life is intact and you do not even know anything now to do with music, than for you to now know music but you're doing it under the devil? So when you go to school to study, one of the things it does is it opens your mind to the world. You can become a coach in music. You can own a music school. You can become a specialist in a particular instrumentation. You can become a consultant in music. I met a woman in Tennessee. That woman, what she plays is organ. You know organ? Those big bomb. That's what she plays. And that's what she teaches and lectures in the university. When musicians like Michael Jackson, or this big musician, when they want to do music, before they release their album, they call women like that. And they put she's been trained, she's been doing that thing for years, more than 50 years. A professor in organ. Before a big name will release a music, they will call people like that. Please come and sit down and listen to our song. And the money they pay them. Let's not even talk about the money. The money they pay them to just sit down, listen to your music, and tell you what to adjust, what to change, what to improve on. Just that. That money, one time, you don't need to work for 10 years. You don't need to work. Because you constantly have money. You can even become a professor in a university teaching music. If you study music. Please, if you are not very serious about music, you're not the one I'm talking to. If you are really, really serious about music, you are the one I'm talking to. Because there might be some people here that I'm like, oh, Pastor, this one you're talking about is too much. The one I want to do is just sing and just sing. That's nonsense. That's not the people I'm coming to talk to here. I mean, I'm coming to talk to serious people who want God to use them in this world. Who wants God to use them and make a mess of the devil. Those are the people I came to talk to. And you must be educated. Somebody said, oh, people don't like our music, they like this other music. Who told you? You just need to be educated. Because music is creativity. You get what I'm saying? It's creativity. So if you, there's something called, God works with our education, our experiences, and our exposure. So there are some of you, for instance, when you make some money, you need to buy a ticket to Nigeria. This Nigeria that you like, buy a ticket to Nigeria. And go and sit down with one of these your artists that you like. And ask them questions. It's called exposure. Somebody say exposure. Or go to that UK and meet that particular artist that you like. I'm meeting Milton. I'm Milton. Mm-hmm. Travel there and go and see him. But guess what? Even if you travel and go, if you're not rising in your education, you can't catch up. You're just wasting time. Please, as I'm talking, have you figured out the next university form or diploma form you will buy? Do you know the one you're going to buy? I don't know what you call it here, but application form. They know the application form. Go and buy it. It might cost you, but you're not going back. You're going forward. Amen. You see this brain. Your brain is not full. Oh. Some of you might say, oh, my brain is full. Pastor, this is my brain. Forget it's not working again. Who told you? You know, someone say, Pastor, I'm a family man. Uh-huh. So what? Me too, I'm a family man. I'm still going to school. You continue to go to school. You can't be tired of going to school. Because even the unbelievers, if you see the way they go to school, the ones that are not Christians, if you see the way they go to school, some of them, they have so much money, they bring the school to their house. They tell the professor, sorry, I can't come, but I have the money to invite you to come and teach me at home. Please, am I making sense? If you can pick that well today, it will be enough. Trust me. If you can pick that one alone of returning back to school, making up your mind, I'm going to study this music as if my life depends on it. Because my destiny is in it. Especially those of you that have encounters in this thing. Encounters without education, it will result to annoyance. Let me say that again. Encounters without education, it will be annoying. You'll be angry one day. You just wake up, you'll be angry. You say, God, what is the matter? God, what is your own? You need to match encounters with education. Exposure. And when I say, what is your vision? What is your dream? I'm talking of in your mind, what do you see? And what I'm about to share now, I've been saying it for almost 10 years. Until my own pastor, I don't know where he went to hear it. He is also my pastor. He is now beginning to say it. And then other musicians that I have spoken with, very good musicians that I've spoken with, they too are becoming surprised. They look, as pastor, they're looking at me and say, you told me this thing 2 years ago. Yes. I told you 2 years ago, you didn't do anything about it. Now God has put it in the mouth of the pastor. He's now telling you now.